It's another wonderful opportunity to interact with you, our viewers at KAFTAN Television. How are you today? Thank you so much for being there for us all the time. We are always excited for the feedback you send to us on the various programs that we have produced on Development Television. So it's another time on Development Television, and I'm excited to bring another interesting topic to you today. My name is Olanrewaju Osho, and today we will be discussing the role and the importance of the citizens in nation building. How important are the citizens in nation building? Is it the leaders that are more important or the citizens? And today I have with me a young man who is also passionate about Nigeria, and he has done a lot of work in the development space, both in the private sector and in the third sector, the NGO sector. He is the MD CEO of Magenta Signature, an interior and exterior furnishing company. So he believes in making things look finer and making things look better. And he has this passion to see Nigeria look finer, look better in his lifetime. He is also the project manager of Safety Beyond Borders, one of the NGOs that focus in promoting, road safety in Nigeria and safety in general. Mr. Mike Atanda, welcome to Development Pillars.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It's an honor to be on this program.
Yeah, we have always said that is it the chicken that is more important than the egg, or is it the egg that is more important than the chicken? So a lot of Nigerians believe that if we must transform this country, that it is only the leaders that can do it and make it happen. And another school of thought believe that, look, it is the citizens that matter the most, because the citizens is the poultry that produces the leader. It's the factory that produces the leader. That every leader comes from within the society, or from a family and from a community. And then when you put the aggregate of the society, of the communities and the families in a nation together, then you have the people. So today we are looking at the impact of the citizens, the role of the citizens in nation building. By the way, are you of the school of thought that the leaders are more important or the citizens are more important?
Okay. Once again, I want to say good morning or good afternoon or good evening. That depends on where you're watching us from. My name is Mike, like he has rightly said. I would say that I think the citizens are more important, because the leaders emerges from the citizens. So the decisions of the citizens, the perception of the citizens, the actions of the citizens actually go a long way in determining who becomes the leader. The leaders did not fall from heaven. Yes. They came from the citizens. So it is important that if any nation is going to get it right in leadership, they have to look at the citizens, look inward, because the decisions we make as human beings every day go a long way in determining what becomes of our lives and our nation. And I was actually thinking about the topic, the role of the citizens in nation building, and I said to myself that before anybody, one of the first thing anybody can do, for me, the role of the citizen should be, number one, asking questions.
Asking questions.
Yes. The citizen must be able to ask questions. And what is the question? One of the questions should be, what kind of a country do I want to see in my lifetime?
So not asking government questions, but asking themselves. So each of us as citizens,
yes,
to ask ourselves this question: what kind of a country do
I want to see in my lifetime? What kind of a country do I want to wake up in the morning to see? And that also brings another.
And what kind of a country do I want my children to grow up
in? And so, and when you look at that, it also begins to tell us that we should know how to ask the right questions. Because in asking the right questions, it's a product of exposure.
Your exposure.
Yes, your exposure as a person. It's a product of your values.
Yes.
It's a product of your vision as a person. So while I'm asking what kind of a country do I want a country that can stand at par with other nations? Do I want a country that can compete with other nations in development? Do I want a country of lawless people? Do I want a country where civil service is civil service? Do I want a country where people are law abiding? Do I want a country where people are not tribalistic? So I should begin to ask this question. So it is answering these questions that will now determine my action, how I involve myself in nation building. Because I've looked around, and what I see people do, I believe is a product of the kind of country that they want. Some of them may not know. In their subconsciousness, they've expressed the fact that most of them don't want a good country by the actions, by the decisions that they have made. So that's what it is important that you ask, what kind of a country do I want? I think that is where your role begins as a citizen.
I think one of the things that I think is wrong with this country, from my living here for over 50 years now, is that Nigerians don't actually know what they want. And then most Nigerians also don't know how important they are and how important what they are doing is helping to build a better society or making it worse. You and I we drove in the same vehicle to this studio, and you saw that man who was driving at over 60 or 70 kilometers per hour facing oncoming traffic. So you can imagine if that kind of a citizen is a governor of central bank. He will just enter into the strong room of the central bank. He will drive in and take away all the money, and he was actually behaving like a terrorist, right? And then if you ask such a person and say, "Oh, what's the problem with Nigeria?" Say it's the leaders. The leaders are bad. But you just, if it's in a developed society, they will take him to asylum.
Yeah.
And go and check whether they will take it to the psychiatric hospital and check whether his brain is working well. And you saw the almost 7 up to 8 bikers were facing one way as we are coming. So what the citizens do individually become aggregate of what the society becomes. Do you believe this?
Yes, sir. Very, very. In fact, I think I was discussing with somebody, and I said, we don't know that. Talking about road safety, because I've done a few things in road safety, and I said the way you see drivers drive, I said you can tell a man's character by the way he drives. When you see a man beating traffic, running traffic lights, running red light, it tells you that, I say it and people laugh, I said, such a man will be a cheat. There's this mindset of, let me get there before the other person.
Before the other people.
Let me have it before he has it. Why can't it be myself? You see people overtaking from the wrong direction. You see people who believes that overloading is nothing. And I tell them that if you do this conveniently and your conscience does not prick you that this is against the law.
To the point that it becomes an habit.
It becomes a habit. So I said, it tells me the kind of person you are. And that is a function or a product of how you want your country to be. You may not consciously tell us that you want a lawless country, but in your disposition, in your actions, you have let everybody know that you don't want a good country. So sometimes when you begin to blame the leaders, know that you are a major. In fact, it is this kind of mindset that also produces the kind of leaders we have, because the kind of country you want is reflecting your decision at the polling unit. And I was discussing with you that the man I was talking to today, I said, when you go to the polling unit to cast your vote, you are saying you are voting for Mr. A. I said, but what you're actually doing is that while you're voting for Mr. A, or while you have decided to vote for Mr. A, I said you should know that you are voting for the character of that man. You are voting for the man's life experience, which may be a product of what he has been told, or a corrupt mindset of either his parents or his ward or his mentors. Yes. Who were his mentors in school? What kind of habit did he have while he was in school? Was he a cultist? Was he a drunkard? Was he a humanizer in school and he graduated like that?
A bully?
A bully. So when you are voting for somebody, you are voting for every character in that man. And you may not know, because the man just comes up and pitch an idea that, oh, please vote for me for this. But you don't know them beyond the man, the face, the good clothes and the wonderful face and smile, and the facade you saw. So know that you have, and this their personality, it will reflect in the decisions they make
when they become
leaders. So know that so that's why I said our mindset, the question we begin to ask is a function of how exposed we are, how educated we are, because of course one of the role of citizens is also education. I want to be exposed. I want to know, not just the formal education alone. I want to know what is happening in my country. I want to go the extra mile to do research. Why must I vote for this person? Before I can vote for this person, what are the things, what are the points, what are the things he will say that will convince me that he's the right person? But what I see in this country is that people just tell you, give me money.
So what you are saying in a nutshell is that the quality of the citizenship affect
the quality of leadership,
and is a reflection of the society. So if you are a citizen and you, for example, run red lights as a driver, and you know that a vehicle is to convey 5 people, 2 in the front, 3 at the back, and you put 4 at the back and 3 in the front, 7. So when you are a local government chairman, you will not uphold rules.
Of course.
When you are a state lawmaker, you will not uphold rules.
Will not.
When you become the commissioner in your state, you will not uphold rules. When you become the governor, you will not uphold rules. When you become the senator, the honorable, the president, a minister, you will not uphold rules. So when you have citizens that break the laws at will, so you are going to have a country of lawless people, and then you are going to have leaders who are lawless, because the leaders emerge from the people. But some people have this notion that but one good leader should be able to just rein everybody in and get them to do what is right. What do you think about that?
I think, yeah, we need a good leader, but it doesn't come that easy. You can't just, we need, one good leader may not be able to transform 100 corrupted minded people. It will need, first of all, to begin to change the orientation of those people. One of the first steps to take towards changing a nation is changing the people, because the people are actually the nation. We can't have Nigeria, we can't have a country called Nigeria without Nigerians, without the citizens. So it is having more people become like you. And one of the ways a leader can do that is to uphold the truth in every situation he finds himself. You know, like, and of course, it boils down to the person's mindset. Somebody was saying something, some persons were saying something a few days ago about, you know, people were advocating for young persons in governance, in leadership, and some were advocating for a particular sex. And because of what has happened in
the last few days,
people were beginning to ask the question that, is it now that is an error to have young people in governance? And I said, it's not a matter of sex. I think and neither is it a matter of demographic. It is a matter of the mind, the values. A 70-year-old person can become a good president, a good leader. And likewise, a 40-year-old man can become a good president. And a 40-year-old man can be a bad leader.
Age has nothing
to do. And even the gender has nothing to do. It's not a gender issue. It's not a demographic issue. It is a mindset issue. It's a mentality issue. What are this person's values?
So the role of citizens that will build a nation,
yes, sir,
a successful nation, includes self-reorientation.
That is it.
That I will be. That good nations were built by good citizens. So I will be the best example of a good citizen that can, you know. But whether you succeed or fail now depends on the population of this kind of citizens in the society. So we'll talk about how to build more of this kind of citizens when we come back from the break. Viewers, please hold your dial. Don't change the dial. Let's go for this commercial break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Development Pillars. Today we are discussing the role and importance of the citizens in nation building. We all want Nigeria to be very good. We want Nigeria to be one of the best countries that people are jackpotting to. We want Nigeria to be like USA. We want Nigeria to be like Canada. We want Nigeria to be like United Kingdom, like, you know, any of these European countries where everything is gang, people are enjoying, life is fine. But do we want to be like the citizens of this country? Do we want to emulate the citizens of this country in terms of, you know, respect for the country, respect for the flag of the country? Last week we spoke about the national identity and our passport. You know, when you carry that passport in your hand and you are traveling out, do you see that you are carrying 201 million or 230 million people behind you, that whatever you do will affect these people back home? You know, I was just watching 3 days ago the Nigerian man in Uganda, you know, who was printing money from his house, printing money. He printed, you know, millions of dollars, millions of Uganda shillings right from his own house. And then they arrested him and, you know, paraded him on national television. That's a Nigerian citizen outside, messing the image of the country up. And then when we say the country is not good, how do you want the country to be good when you are not good? So we want to do a little demonstration. You know, we like to make it practical in Development Pillars so that you can see the way it looks like. So, you know, Nigeria as a country is a formation of, you know, coming together of many ethnic nationalities. And these ethnic nationalities are people. So, for example, we have here this blue color. You can see this blue color. And if you look very well, you see that inside the blue colors, you see a few patches of white. So this represents, you know, this represents the Hausa people. And then you have here also, you know, color red. You know, these are people. These are citizens. And you see color red, but we have a few patches of white inside. So I will explain to you why each set is having two colors later. Then we have the Igbos. You know, you see it's color
orange.
Orange, okay, with few patches of white inside. And then we have you know, what we call minority. You know, the Ibibio, the Efik, the TV, the Doma, you know, all those. So you can see it's also two patches, color green with a few white inside. Now, in every society, there are two types of people: the good people and the bad people. So you have good people, you have bad people. So among the Hausas, we have good people, bad people. Among the Yorubas, good people, and these people are citizens, bad citizens. And among the Igbos, good people and bad people. And then among all the other ethnic nationalities, good people and bad people. And you know what? These are the citizens that become Nigerians. Now, the white represent the good people, the law-abiding, the morally upright, those who, you know, they love their neighbors as themselves. So when you begin to pour this now inside our crucible, this is Nigeria, for example, the population that produces our president, the population that produces our governor, the population that produces our senators, our honorables. So they are the ones that go out to go and vote. And then when you want to select a leader, you know, candidate for the election, they will come from here. You can see that the population is increasing. So the Igbos have joined. So that's why we are a nation. Now all the other ethnic nationalities, this represent them. Now can you see that? Let's juggle together. So let's drop the ones that are falling out. Now we are looking for one president, one vice president, 109 senators, 360 honorables, 36 governors. And we are looking for lawmakers in all the various states, and we are looking for local government chairmen. So when you are picking, how many whites can you pick out of this? You know, I told you, I said the whites represent the good people. They are law-abiding. They will never take a kobo that does not belong to them. They will never cheat in an election. You know, they will never cheat in an examination. They will not. They will just obey the rules. They want things to be orderly, to be okay. So when you are picking your leaders, and then you juggle it out, and then you pick. You see, the chances are that every time you pick 10, it's only one white you can pick out of it. You know, you have not even scattered it very well. So if you scatter it, you can see now. So look at it. So the chances of picking white, that is picking a good person, is very rare. Very, very rare. So we always complain, oh, let the president change Nigeria. It's only the president that can do it. And not the president. The power of the president is so much, is so big. But the president cannot do it alone. There are, you know, these bad people will pull down any good leader if he's in the minority. So you need a majority of good people to build a good society, a good country, a good nation. So unless you now, one way or the other, you know, you sanctify, you clean, you know, you transform, you reform, such that every of these citizens in this country, community, society become white. So the chances are that every 10 times you pick, you can only pick one that is white. So for our country to move forward, Mr. Mike Atanda,
yes, sir.
How can we begin to transform our people, the citizens, so that we can all become what is white, reflect and represent?
Okay, I think in this case I would talk about the role of the leaders themselves, because in a country as peculiar as ours, it's a lot of work. When you look at the country, sometimes,
and the leaders are also citizens.
They are citizens.
They are citizens.
Yes. In fact, our president is #1 citizen of this country.
So
they are one of the most important citizens of the country. So when you want to change a nation, now I want to look at what the leaders can also do. Because while we say the citizens have a lot of role to play, because the leaders actually emerge from us. So if a leader, for instance, like I love this demonstration, the chances of picking a good leader here is very rare.
Very rare.
And if we get it right, if God help us, we get it right, we pick a good leader. Now, a good leader will not also do well leading those who are blind. He will do a lot of work. One of the first things he will do, like I said earlier, is if you are leading blind people, one of the things you want to do to make your job easy is to make them see, to give them sight. If you give them sight,
if they can see, if they are not a lost cause.
So if you can give them sight, you can begin to tell them, go that way. Because if they cannot see, they will question every directive given to them. If you tell them, go this way, they will ask you, why must I go? Because they can't not just see. So one of the things that we can begin to do, and that's why I said the leaders, because I also want to say this. You know, people, I've heard our leaders in Nigeria quoted John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy.
That wonderful speech of 1961.
Don't think of what your country can do for you. Think of what you can do for.
And I said, they did not look at the first statement the man made. I read it. When he was to give that speech, that victory speech, he said, this is not a victory of party. But a celebration of freedom. So he removed this party. He said this victory is not for the party, it's for the people. So he already laid a foundation that sends the message of trust to the people. That was why that statement made so much sense to them, that think of what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you, because the man from his body language and from his statement has let them know that if you think of what you can do, we will back you up. We will create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, for your ideas to thrive. It's difficult in this our Nigeria of today. So you cannot tell me to think of what to do for my country when I think nothing to help my idea. No enabling environment for my. In fact, it's like in Nigeria, most business ideas die die in the mind. Because, for instance, I think of doing a particular business, and as I'm planning, okay, I will do it like this. When it comes to finance, for instance, the idea dies. How do I get finance? You can't approach your bank. You can't even go there. You can't even, they will say, okay, go to family and friends. They will tell you the same, I don't have money for you. They are struggling too. So how do I think of what to do for my country where the environment is not conducive?
Okay, Mr. Mike, and dear viewers, can we do it this way? You see, the truth is that every citizen that is bad,
Yes, sir.
knows that they are bad. And every citizen that is bad knows the good citizen among them.
That are good.
But unfortunately, the good citizen may not have the resources to be able to contest an election and become the president or the governor or the local government chairman. So one of the ways we can reform this seemingly hopeless situation where we have scarcity of good people is that we can all, during knowing fully well that everything rises and falls with leadership. So we can consciously, deliberately look for the white politician or the white aspirant. You know, that somebody is contesting for election does not make him a politician. He may be somebody who has been standing away before, is now fed up, and he feels that I can contribute something. And now if he rises and say, look, I want to help us solve this problem. You know, so unless these people say, okay, you know what, we have tried all this manner of things, it didn't work, let's pick this white one and let's make this one a leader. So the leader can now get there and can now begin the process of this mind reconstruction, you know, attitudinal change, national reorientation that can help us to transform. Yes, and that was what Lee Kuan Yew did in Singapore. They were very frustrated with the way their country was going, and a few of them who represent white came together and bound themselves by an oath that we are white, we want to change this entire citizenry and population to become white like us. And they are focusing on meritocracy. So as soon as they became the leader, they began to build systems, you know. So when you don't build systems, the citizenship remain the same way. We have been independent for over 63 years and we remain the same as a country. This demonstration we have done on development pillars today have shown us clearly that we need good citizens to build a good nation. And we individually begin to reform ourselves. And when we begin to individually reform ourselves, for example, we no longer collect money from people to vote for them. And when you don't collect money from people to vote for them, you have a moral right to challenge them and demand that they perform for you. And then when you have good people like that at the helm of affairs, then they begin to, you know, change the educational system, you know, the leadership system, and everything begin to work, and we have a good society. So thank you so much, Nigerians. Mr. Atanda, it's a pleasure having you today. Unfortunately, our time is up. We will bring you up another time for another interesting discussion. So, the viewers, Nigeria needs good citizens. And like Mr. Atanda said, ask yourself a question. What kind of a country do I want to live in? What kind of a country do I want to join others to build? And what kind of a country do I want my children to grow in? A country where everybody is driving against traffic, everybody is drawing refuse on the street, everybody is, you know, changing figures and cheating, and, you know, and things for the people diverting to their family. That will not be a good country. So let's reform ourselves, and then when we have the opportunity next time, let's choose good leaders in our association, in our estate association, in our community, in the politics, and then we'll build a good nation. Thank you so very much. We look forward to seeing you next week when we bring another interesting topic on development pillars. And keep watching KAFTAN television. God bless you.